All right, the survivalist is next. Stay with us.
You're listening to the Richard Syrett Show on Newstalk Saga 960 AM.
Every Monday, we bring you the survivalist to help you prepare for that inevitable disaster, calamity, collapse of civil society, to help you prepare when the shinola hits the fan. Stefan Verstappen is an emergency preparedness expert. He's an author, martial artist, and he joins us now. Hey, Stefan, welcome back.
Hey, Rich. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. You want to talk about something today called Everyday Carry Essentials. Now, last week we talked about bug-out bags. Things, let's say all of a sudden it's like 1975 in Mississauga all over again. There's a chemical train derailment, and the Mayor Hazel, orders a massive evacuation. You need a bug-out bag. You got things to have prepared in a bag that are waiting, so you don't do it last minute. Are everyday carry essentials sort of related to a bug-out bag?
Yeah, it's similar in concept, except that it's a lot smaller and lighter. 2 weeks ago, we discussed about making plans. If we got separated during a natural disaster from our family, how would we find each other? Where would we go? How would we rendezvous? And then last week, we discussed the bug-out bag. So the same thing, if there's an emergency and you had to evacuate your house, your apartment, the area you live in, then how can you take the essential items you'll need to last for 3 days and take them with you and get out as quickly as possible without running around trying to figure out what to put in the backpack? So that's great. Now, I have had a bug-out bag packed and ready to go for about 50 years, and I've never used it. Never used it.
50 years? Wow.
Well, I've been doing this since I was 16, Richard. Because I started this when I was a Boy Scout. Be prepared. And at that time, back in the 70s, we were always told that we were going to face a nuclear war and Armageddon, and this was in the movies and the TVs and the newspapers. I mean, we were, terrified by nuclear war, and so as a young man, I thought, well, I better get ready for it. That's why I'm here today, because I've been doing this for that long. They scared me enough to get ready, okay? But now look at what's happening. I was alive during the Cuban Missile Crisis. I was only a little boy. I don't remember too much about it, but I remember the panic and fear everyone felt because they all assumed that we were, the clock to midnight, the countdown to Armageddon was, 3 minutes to midnight. At any moment, the entire world could be inflamed, and that would be it. But I've never heard talk of deployment of nuclear weapons to such a degree as I have in the last 2 months. It's concerning, Richard. I think there's an 80% chance that this is all just going to blow over. But there's still a 20% chance that something's going to happen. Now, let's say something happens, and now you're in the car, you're in the office, your kids are at school, and you can't get home to get your bug-out bag. Now, what do? Well, that's why we put together, or I recommend putting together a EDC. Now, EDC is a borrowed term from the gun community, the firearms community. EDC means everyday carry, and in the original form of the acronym, it means what gun do you carry every day? Concealed carry, and what type of gun, and how heavy, and how big, and the arguments go on and on and on. But that's the meaning of the word EDC. But there's also an EDC regarding what kind of survival items can you carry around with you every day.
Like in your pocket.
Like in your pocket. Now, there's two types of additional kits that you should put together. And unless anyone thinks I'm being ultra paranoid about this and having all this survival equipment on me, let me tell you, like I said, I've had a bug-out bag for 60 years, never used it. But my pocket kit, I have used dozens and dozens of times, and it's been a lifesaver, an absolute lifesaver. So don't think I'm being overly paranoid by putting together these little kits, because I have used these other ones a lot more than I have all my, prepper supplies here in the house. So what is an EDC kit? Now, there's different sizes. you can make one out of an Altoids tin container. So you know those little tin containers. They're
Right, that hold lozenges.
Yeah, it holds lozenges. They're about 3 inches by half an inch, 3/4 inch by
metal tin.
4 inches, exactly. So a typical EDC would fit in one of those tins. I have a version that is slightly larger. It's it's one of those canvas pocket attachment.
Yeah, with a zipper. I know what you mean. A zipper. Yeah. Listen, we're going to take a quick time out. We'll come back and we'll find out what we put in the Everyday Carry Essential Kit. Stefan Verstappen, emergency preparedness expert, the website formingcommunities.com. Back with more of our conversation in 2 minutes. Stay with us.
Back to the conversation on The Richard Syrett Show. News Talk, Saga 960 AM.
The Survivalist, Part 2. Stefan Verstappen, emergency preparedness expert, author, and martial artist, among other things. And the website formingcommunities.com. Today we're talking about everyday carry essentials. So you've got your little metal tin that you carry you used to carry your lozenges in. That's all you need, that little thin metal tin. And what goes inside for your everyday carry kit?
Well, basically, you're going to put in there everything that you put in your bug out bag. So you're going to look at medicine, you're going to look at food, you're going to look at tools, signaling devices, ways of starting a fire. So what I have in my my little pouch, and this is something you can just stick in the glove compartment of your car. Personally, I carry it because I do, I bicycle everywhere. So I put it in my backpack. But if you want to, you can just hook it onto your belt. It's unobtrusive. Now, in there, I've got a bunch of things. Number one, I've got a little tiny flashlight. Number two, I've got a little tiny glow stick. You get these at the party stores. They hang around your neck. You break it, and it glows for 6 hours. It's useful for lighting up an area. And also, if you have to, find your way around, you can just light up this glow stick and save the batteries on the flashlight. I also have a what they call a Leatherman. It's a tool. It folds up. You unfold it. It turns into a pair of pliers. Plus, it's got screwdrivers, a knife, maybe a pair of tweezers, and
like a Swiss Army knife.
Well, it's not quite a Swiss Army knife. A Swiss Army knife is good too. Yeah, you can substitute the Leatherman for a Swiss Army knife. Let's see. I got the one here. It's even got a pair of scissors on it. It's got little tiny scissors and screwdrivers and a knife blade, and it's got a pair of pliers and wire cutters. So I can, I've used this to pull slivers out of my arms when I was crashed the bicycle into the woods. Anyways, useful for small repairs. I've actually repaired my bicycle with this little tiny thing. It's 2.5 inches long.
Wow.
They give them away sometimes at conferences and conventions. That's where I got this one. I was at some conference, and it was a giveaway. It was, I think, a prepper conference or something. And it's come in handy. I've been able to do things with it, make small repairs. The other thing is I have bandages. So I got Band-Aids, and I also got those Elastoplast bandages. They stick better than the other kind of bandages. Plus, I have those little packets. You can find them, packet of antibiotic cream, wet wipes in a small packet, so you can clean the wound. You can put in the antibiotic cream, and you can bandage it up. So it's like a mini first aid kit: Band-Aids and assorted wet wipes and packets of antibiotic cream. So that's in there, and I have used that. I've cut myself a couple of times when I was working on the bicycle with the Leatherman, and I'm bleeding all over the place. And sometimes those cuts won't stop bleeding. How come there's blood everywhere? So thank goodness I had those Band-Aids with me. The other thing is a bandana. A bandana is a fantastic piece of equipment because you can use it as a bandage if you have severe bleeding. You can use it to apply direct pressure to a wound. You can also use it to wrap up your wrist. If you've sprained your wrist or you sprained your ankle, you can wrap it around there, add support to the joint. So and also you can, especially now with summer coming on, if it gets really hot, you soak the bandana in water and you put it over your head, and the evaporation will cool you down. The other thing I have is a lighter, so I can start a fire. Now, why would I want to start a fire? Because maybe I want to make myself a cup of coffee. So I have a couple of packs of coffee and creamer, hot chocolate, and chicken broth.
You can't fit a cup, though, in a little lozenge tin?
Well, then you're going to have to, scavenge some things, right? But worst case scenario, you can use the little aluminum Altoids container to boil water.
Ah, true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I wrap the whole thing up with paracord. So the little container, the little lozenge box, I just wrap paracord around because
Paracord. What is that?
Paracord is short for parachute cord. It's a standard kind of survivalist item. It's basically very strong string. And while it's halfway between string and rope, it'll support about 350 pounds. And you can use it for fixing things, for constructing shelters. In addition to the paracord, we talked about this last week too, is one of those little plastic ponchos. Again, they're cheap and useful only once or twice. But I've been caught in the rainstorm, and I've got my EDC, my everyday carry kit with me, and I got my poncho in there. The other thing I put in there is a Mylar blanket, emergency blanket, to keep warm. So I've got ways of keeping myself warm. I got ways of starting a fire. I got ways of illuminating my environment. I got the little glow stick. I got the flashlight. I got some tools. So if I need to do some repairs on the bicycle or even on the car, pulling fuses out and things like that. And so that's all in my everyday carry. I got some nutritional items, the chicken broth and the hot chocolate, because you don't know. You could be stuck somewhere for a day. And if you don't have anything on you, then you're going to be a lot more miserable than if you had all these items.
Everyday Carry Essentials, or EDC, which is kind of a miniaturized version of a bug-out bag, but you don't always have the bug-out bag with you. And this can be fit ideally into a little metal tin that you might carry around lozenges, or those little canvas, not a fanny pack so much, but a little canvas
carry pouch
that zips up that you could attach to your belt, I suppose.
Yeah, it's 4x6. It's really small.
All right. Formingcommunities.com. Formingcommunities.com. That's the website. There's a course on there. The Complete Guide to Forming Communities for Mutual Aid, Support, and Charity. You can sign up for the online course. And where do we find the survivalist library that's all downloadable? Is that at Forming Communities, or is that at chinastrategies.com?
It's on both. You can go to either website, and it's on both. But if you go to chinastrategies.com, like everything I've talked about with all these kits and that, it's all in my book, The Art of Urban Survival. So it gives you a whole list. But what I will do after we finish talking is I will upload a list of items you should have, and I'll post it to my China Strategies website, and at chinastrategies.com. I'll post it on my website there, and you can go there. And so if you need ideas for how to put one of these things together, I'm going to post it up there. And it's excerpted from my book.
There you go. Everyday Carry Essentials. Stefan, always appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. Talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Stefan Verstappen. And again, the websites are formingcommunities.com. There's a free online course. Not a free online course. There's an online course. It's not free. Apologies. It's an expansive, extensive online course. And then chinastrategies.com. chinastrategies.com. All right. Hour 2.